See what happens this time. Might be working. Welcome to the Out There channel, live stream 158. Looks like Google's behaving itself this time. I will do a few checks. Might be by myself again. Okay, better cue the intro. Let's see how it's going. Sounds good. This end. Good to be back. Good to be back. Okay. Looks like that went okay. Not sure if anyone's out there. Better mute that echo. Yeah, it looks like it's going all right, better than usual. But I shouldn't say that. It always goes wrong after that. Hey, yes. I'm not sure if these counters are working. I think Google's done something, so the counters are sort of stuck. But we'll see, I guess. I was just having a look through the community comments to see if anyone had voted there since last time. Looks like 3 people have, 1 person there. 0 votes there. Oh, 9 votes on that one. That one got busy. Oh, that was old one though. Okay, so it's funny how it doesn't send alerts for this page. I'm not sure how you get email alerts or whatever. Kind of strange. So you don't know if anyone's abusing it or not. You'd have to keep checking it. Okay, I suppose I better check, see if everything's working with the volumes. Not sure if anyone's out there. Have we got some sound is the question. Can I hear anything? So you don't know if anyone's abusing it or not. Going to the wrong place. Okay, I suppose I better check, see if everything's working with the volumes. Looking good. Counters are not working. Have we got some sound is the question. Should be 2 watching. Can I hear anything? 2 likes. I think the counters are not working anymore. Alright, I better get out of that. I think I got a few more subs overnight. Don't know what that's saying there. Problem is, there's no way to email the guy that looks after the site. So it looks like we might have to change that again. That's a bit of a shame. Maybe he's given up. What they called live alerts or something. Just reload, see if they work. No, doesn't look good. Not sure what we're going to do there. It's always something goes haywire. So, anybody out there? Move that across here. I did have some other like things here I had watching. Some using other systems. Let's see, do they still work? One's saying 0 there. Looks like it needs to be resized. Close that one. Live likes. Not sure which system that's using. One's saying 0 too. Kind of weird. Looks like that all might be down then. Thank you, girl. Now, looks like we're stuck. Alright. Better open up downloads just in case. And we're almost ready to go. Looks like it's going okay, reasonably well. Yep. And the CPU fan's kicked in a bit. Not too sure why. Is my mic volume normal? It looks like it. It's kind of weird not getting any sound back in the headset. Normally have someone on. Hello. Yeah. Okay, I'll just type the welcome message, this last thing. So, live stream 158. So these are going to be my regular live streams for now, once a week. Normally it'd be for people to come on and talk about their UFO experiences. I have them there. It's zoomed in a bit too much. Cool. So if you want to join our Discord UFO group, it's found in the About tab or the banner. So join the Discord UFO group. Wish to come on to talk your experiences or chat when not live, and share images or video, etc. Well, there we go. Normally have John doing that for us, but he's gone his own way by the looks of it, and Robert's not around because of the daylight savings. We went back and he went forwards, which made a 2-hour gap. So 1 o'clock lunchtime here is like 3 AM where he is. But I thought maybe he was a night owl. But he's normally got friends over. So yeah, the stats are down, huh? That sort of happened last night. I noticed it stopped working. Yeah. So I'm in the live room on Discord, as you can see. You can drop in there if you want to give it a try. Beat me on the side and we'll set you up. I didn't sleep too well. My back was a bit painful again. And it's hard to turn off your brain sometimes. Because you're thinking about stuff all the time. Problem is, you're always looking at the UFO stuff coming in all the time to see what you're going to talk about next time as well. So anybody out there, because I probably won't be able to notice it because the counters are down, unless I look on the admin panel. Says 2 people watching. So there are a couple of things I can talk about. I'm going to talk about a different idea to the Big Bang Theory, which actually uses some of the Big Bang things that they talk about: inflation, the universe expanding, and how it could be explained without using dark matter, other things like that. So see how that goes. And I got a case on UFO Stalker that I can talk about that happened in Texas. That's been broadcast around various other UFO channels without any analysis. So I'll go over that. A thing on To the Stars as well. Forgot to put that in the topic list. Should be talking about the cold glow around the UFO. Mick West put out something interesting, so we'll go over that as well. So yeah, as soon as we get up to speed on it, it should be good. So yeah, I was looking for Universe cover page basically, and seeing all the different images out there. This shows you how big the universe is, right? It's pretty massive. Trillions and trillions of stars. So what was that, like 100 trillion stars? They reckon, at least. And trillions of planets. Can't remember how many they said. I think I have covered it in previous lives. It's quite a lot more than they used to think now. With our information getting better with telescopes. So yes, As you can see, there's quite a lot of different images, some from obviously deep field view on what do you call it, Hubble telescope, where it just keeps excuse me, keeps the shutter open and lets more light in for a longer time and gradually builds up star maps. I mean, well, galaxies actually. What we see as stars is actually galaxies in the sky, you know. Sirius B. Hello, Noah. How's it going? I think I can see your name there. Yes, the counters are down today. Looks like it might even be down for what do you call it, OBS as well. So yes, all the stats are wrong. So you've heard about star systems in the sky as well. So you've got Sirius B, or Sirius star. And goes back to the ancients because it's a bright star. But is it really a star? That's the question. Is it just a galaxy that looks bright in the sky? Sirius, so let's have a look. A lot of people got these big telescopes, amateur telescope people, astronomers out there, with the P1000 and P90 Nixon camera taking these screen snapshots. So what does it say here about Sirius? It has no equal. Sirius is the brightest star in the entire sky, twice as bright as the nearest competitor, as most bright and particularly easy to identify, a winter star for northern hemisphere. So we don't get to see that. I don't think. People that study the night sky in the southern hemisphere might be able to tell us or not. Appears in the late evening sky, November. So they say it's a star, so I guess it is a star. I know they talk about binary stars as well. Was it not going back? Who we got out there? Hey, who took my mojo? How's it going? Haven't seen you around for a while. Okay, thanks mate. How's your uni going? Was it uni that you were doing? Making lots of money. Well, we're just surviving, aren't we? Living week to week, putting up with all the BS out there. So yeah, we need more people with decent cameras out there, not these smartphone ones. So they can sort of capture some decent footage of these UFOs. But I think we're seeing that UFOs really a rare event. We still don't know what's possibly military hardware out there, or reversed engineering tech. There could be possibility as well. like I said, perhaps a UFO did crash, in 1947. Who knows? I did that memo thing, which kind of suggests that the word might have been disc in the memo, if you're not seeing it. So, yeah, did they reclaim a UFO? That sort of was working. Then started trying to reverse engineer it, but because it's like a smartphone landing in the Middle Ages, right? So they wouldn't know what to do with it. Imagine. Well, we don't even know how to reverse silicon chips, right? If you had your smartphone and ripped it to bits, you'd say, don't get how this works, because it's sort of like a niche thing even amongst humans, and of course factories to make it. And when you go back to the early first silicon chip that they produced in Silicon Valley there, it was like cutting edge, right? It was chunky, but smaller than what they used to have. I don't know if you remember valves, or was that before your time? I remember looking in the back of the TV, and there was like glowing tubes, right? So, do you want to come and talk at all? Any of yous on the side here? Sundays is going to be pretty much everybody's live stream, right? I can drive the topics, right, and get people just talking, but if you want to come on live at the moment, you can, because it's talking to myself without any sort of feedback is feels kind of spooky, because when you hear where you have the headset on, it sort of makes you claustrophobic, right, without any sort of feedback sound coming back. And I can't listen to myself because it's like an echo and it puts you off and it stutters. So you probably need to get to my Discord link and sign up there so I can drop you into the live chat to talk. It saves a lot of typing, of course. Yeah, I was just trying to figure out the Sirius Star here, but because I mentioned it, I was going to find out how many stars are actually galaxies or something different. How many stars actually galaxies? Like, let's see if we can find something on that. I'll give you a link in a minute. So it says here, stars are not scattered randomly through space, they are gathered together into vast groups known as galaxy. The sun belongs to the galaxy, but that's not really what I'm after. How many stars exist still? where, as you know, the speed of light and all that. So yeah, belt tab. You need to get onto Discord now rather than Hangouts if you want to come and chat, unfortunately, because Hangouts is going to be charging to use it eventually, and they're currently modifying everything. As you can see here, the tickers that used to work don't work anymore because of Google changing things, because they don't offer the service that these other things do. So there's the Discord link there. I can copy and paste it, of course. Oh, no, that didn't work, did it? Voice chat. Okay. So you have to run. Okay. That's alright. These days, UFOs is easy to fake, and you are good enough CGI artist if you're a good enough CGI artist. Well, you don't even need to be a CGI artist. It's easy to fake it with reflections and cropping videos where you use lens flare and all that sort of stuff. So if you join Discord, you don't even need to give it email. You can create a temporary ID that can use. That's which is pretty good. That means you can test out your own channel, right, and see if everything's working. Of course, Discord's improving all the time too, or getting overloaded all the time. As you can see, we're connecting through South Africa at the moment, and it's yellow and not green, but it seems to be the most stable one from New Zealand to UK, where the sound, the voice doesn't get corrupted. So yeah, if someone drops in, I will see you down the list here. I'm not sure what moderators are with me anymore. I think it's time to start cleaning up some stuff on the Discord group. I may even look at doing a different, see what else comes out. There's a lot of competitors to Discord since the problem's been happening. See, it's dropped to red as well. This is a problem with servers rather than peer-to-peer systems. People are looking at peer-to-peer, where the system runs on your computer and does all the voice and then sends it over to the other person and gets away without having to have servers in the middle that can spy on you. It can be encrypted, which is a good idea. So it looks like the counters are not going to come up, eh? So I can make it bigger, I suppose, if I need to. So how many stars are there in the universe? Trillions, and they still don't know. So I was trying to find out how many stars are actually far away galaxies in the sky. Looks like not finding that out too easily here. But I should talk about my theory that I've got, which could explain some things a wee bit better, I reckon. The idea that the universe comes from nothing, from a singularity, it sort of exploded into existence. Well, they say it's like explosion, but it actually expanded instantly to what we say is like 14 billion light years away. We're actually in the center. All around us is expanding. It's like the idea of that the Earth is at the center of the universe again. So a lot of people don't realize that the Big Bang actually comes from a guy that was a priest. And the Big Bang is really comes from existence from nothing. It's this idea that God created the universe again. It's kind of what you call creation science. So if we bring up Big Bang, I've covered this before, but I suppose we should really recover the basics again. See if we can get the picture of the priest, if it's still around. It used to be there. looks like it's been updated since we last been looking at it. And they keep adding new theories to it to try and explain it all the time. That everything sort of come out from nothing, and it was hydrogen, which then made bigger atoms, bigger elements, hydrogen, helium, carbon. Big Bang theory, maybe. Probably there. I'll probably have to find it again. The guy and come up with the initial idea. Was it the one I was looking at? That's a TV show. Basically naming a TV show that really stuffs things up. Yeah. Big Bang Priest. I wonder if that'll come up. Oh, that's him, I think. There we go. George Lamantry. Portrait. So what's it say about him? Was a Jesuit trained Belgian Roman Catholic priest. Isn't that a mouthful? Mathematician, astronomer, professor of physics at the Catholic University of Louvain. He was the first to identify that the recession of nearby galaxies can be explained by the theory of expanded universe. So there you go. So I suppose he might be mentioned. Where's Big Bang? Here we go. Also proposed what later became known as the Big Bang Theory. There you go. So there you go. The church is deep into it there. And why? Why come up with the Big Bang as an idea? Because it fits their theory that the universe was created by a super being, opposed to the universe being always in existence, and the universe is actually God, because everything comes from God, right? We're energy from suns, atoms from suns, which, as I talked about last time, was atoms are actually dense energy. So everything is energy. From the explosion of an atomic bomb turns matter into energy, and they talk about converting energy back into matter. So it's all there. So let's just get paint.net up. I'll catch up with Noah. Windows Vista. No, this is Windows 10. Windows 10 with classic shell added to it. So you got the same feel as the old Windows. So you can make it look like Windows 8, Windows 7, and XP even if you want to. It's pretty good. So yeah, so we've got the paint thing up. It looks like it's moved, as all things seem to on this. Especially browser windows, they always seem to change size. Looks like that's got a bit bigger there as well, the watching. This gets slightly bigger by a millimeter or something, you know. There you go, look. Every time you start it up and close it down. So buggy. I'll just get a drink. So if you imagine, if you think of the universe, everything in the universe seems to be like globes, like spheres, right? So why would the universe be like an expanding disk, or a flat universe, right? We see it in all directions. So it makes sense that it's going to be like a big ball as well, is what I've been thinking about. So if we draw the universe as a big sphere, so once you start looking at that way, and it's going to be big, of course. It makes sense that we could have multi-universes as well. Not over top of us, but right next door to us. So you can have multiple balls, right? That could be overlapping, touching, overlapping. So that kind of plays into things. But instead of looking at 3D, we're just... So also, that makes sense that we can only see to the edge of the side of the universe, right? So I'll get it back to where it was big. So if you can imagine that we're down here, right? So if we draw just a regular circle, actually we could probably, we've got a person icon there at all, down here. What's that one there? Rockets. It needs some more icons, really, doesn't it? It needs to be expanded. Planet Earth. We've got 3D ones. What's that one there? Car, bicycle, bus, cart. What's that one? A truck. Right, I've used that one before. Airplane. Okay, what's that one there? My eyes are not really good at the moment. Push pin. Oh, right. That's a bit like what... that gets rid of what we had. Just make that bigger. I suppose it could even be like a squashed in sphere, really. So, yeah, got to do that pin, but I have to click off it. I'll try and get my point across. Is it clicked off it now? I'm not too sure what's a quick way to get rid of that. Fortunately my bed's not really even again, it's sliding. Mattress. I have to prop up my back because it's so sore. So there's a pin, but it's not solid, so let's see if we can fill it in. It's not very good. Where's the tip of the pin gone? Okay, maybe a different colour. Pretty terrible pin. Not as good as Google one. So if we're here, say, when the universe is bigger than normal, we're only going to see to the edge of the ball, right? So if you're at the top here, we wouldn't be able to see you, because if you draw a circle now, it's like when they first explored our planet, right? They weren't sure if they're going to drop off the edge of the world. The universe could be the same. They're talking about the edge of the universe, right? So why couldn't the universe be a sphere? And of course, the way the light travels, it could be moving in a arc going around towards us, or it could be so big, the universe, right, that it doesn't. We don't actually see it noticeably bending, like we do on planet Earth, right? Light to us is moving in a straight line from the sun, but it's probably bending, but we don't notice it, right? Refraction, reflections, and all that sort of business. Same with radiation. It just could be like it's got a field that sort of light looks like it's going in a straight line, but it's actually slightly bending as it's going around the globe. Let's see. So light's coming from needs to be bigger than it. I suppose I could do it with a line. No. I'll see if I can freehand draw it. So light's coming from the edge, but we can only see the edge to a certain point around us. I circle like that, right? So we're thinking it's like 14 billion light years old, but if you imagine a person standing on a soccer ball, you can only see a certain distance and then it drops off, right? So what's all the stuff in the middle here, though? So I'll get onto that. So I'll do a new one. I don't know why it does it with that size. I should be doing it bigger, shouldn't it? Oh, that's alright. What is stuck on for? Oh, yours. You just have to uninstall it and reinstall it from the new download. Do you know the observable universe theory? Probably heard about it, but there's so many different theories out there, right? Electric universe. So yeah, so we draw a circle. We look at it in a from top. Nope, I suppose it could be solid. Black. Okay, do we stick with it filled in or not? Let's see. Probably best to keep it. Oh, that's not too bad. Outline. What's that one say? That'll do. Okay, so now we're looking down on the ball. We could be in the middle, right? So draw another circle. Our galaxy, our planet, whatever you want to call it. So you're only going to see to the edge of the ball, right? Edge of the universe. So I'll just type some words up here. So you can only see what do you have to do a different colour? Oh, what happened there? Oh, that's metal. Yeah, the bed's not very even here. We've got a lumpy bit. So yeah, we're seeing to the edge of the universe. 14 billion light years. Well, 13.8 I should say. Right, rounded up to 14. but that's in all directions, right? So but we can't see what's going around the other side. So if we had like UFO technology, ships that can fly out to the edge of the universe and then find it actually goes around, you keep flying and it just comes right round in a circle back to itself, right? That would prove the theory straight away that the universe is actually a massive big sphere, a big soccer ball, and we're living on top of it. So what's all the stuff in between though on this thing? So let me just clear some of that back off. Shame you can't just keep some labels, right? So we got the circle. So Tesla did some experiments and he came up with this, if you've not watched my documentary, he figured out that electricity is not just a flow of electrons, well, the movement of the electromagnetic field. It's not really the flow of electrons as we talked about last time. He found that from producing lightning somehow produced more energy, which from what he used was a thing called a spark gap. So he created some collectors of what he called the radiant energy from the spark itself, which converted it back into AC current or DC current, and then converted to AC current, which then drove electric motors and lights and that sort of stuff. So he found that it produced vast amount of energy from just one spark. Then I did in that episode, some guy called E.V. Gray apparently figured out what Tesla was building. Was going to create this free energy device which used radiant energy. So Tesla always made some crazy statements like the sun absorbs more energy than it puts out, because this theory that hydrogen's always creating fusion energy within the core, he reckons there was more going on where it was absorbing from another thing called an ether, which is all around us, this energy that keeps the atoms stable, because atoms are releasing energy all the time and also absorbing energy, and the sun was producing vastly more energy than regular atoms through the fusion process. So apparently it was in his notes and people got to read stuff that he had written down, but he also did a paper on what is gravity as well, which sort of got suppressed or vanished. It was written about in other books. So yeah, so if we can get hold of his notes that he's got in his missing 80 chests, apparently it's actually more than that. It's probably over 100 chests that he had with all his notebooks in it, because he used to write it down in notebooks way before computers. So if you can imagine that we've seen it as a three-dimensional system, but this ether is actually virtually like a fourth dimension. It's all around us, but we can't see it, we can't sense it, we can't detect it, but we know it's there. So here he's talking about, if we look at the Big Bang thing, if you can imagine this circle's always expanding, right? So that's why the galaxies would be moving further away from us. So if we're here again and another galaxy's over here, it's actually moving away from us. But also it may not be perfect surface, right? So it might not be like a nice curve. It may be like a like a rubber balloon, right? I'll just clean that up again. It might be, like my free hand drawn circle here. It may not be a perfect sphere. It may have little dimples in it. So things are moving away from us. Some of the galaxies are actually moving a bit slower than other galaxies, which could explain if it's expanding and they're in such sort of like a dip on the rubber ball, that they're moving away a bit slower than the other galaxies are, if that makes sense. It's a bit hard to draw and explain it at the same time, but I'll try my best. Yeah, 46 billion light years. So they say, a suitable universe, but it could actually be more, is what I'm saying, because that would count for inflation, right? If the universe is actually a sphere, because Mother Nature likes keep things simple, and spheres, balls, globes make sense, right? Because of gravity and conserving energy and all that sort of stuff. Takes the easiest route. So in here would make sense that it's actually what they're looking for. So this would be Tesla's ether, is what we're sitting on top of, right? Tesla's ether. Which basically you could call dark matter. So we're actually on the surface of this ball called the universe. So let's see if I can draw a little triangle. So we're on the surface, galaxies all over the place on this ball, right? So we can see to a certain distance here on the edge, which you're saying is 46 billion light years observable, which is probably true. You can see a certain distance. So the light from these galaxies are just moving around to us. Yeah, it would be so nice to have a tablet so you could draw it on the screen. This is meant to be a touch screen, this second one. It never works though on Windows 10. I think the guy said you have to unplug the USB, the HDMI cable, so it all goes through USB. I'm not sure if I want to try that. But yeah, I don't know if you could get a pen and then touch the screen, because that got it work. I don't know if it will work with the packages, but it's a good thing. So dark matter obviously has dark energy, right? So Tesla's ether here, sending out let's see if I can draw some arrows, different color maybe, sending out dark energy. So these could be the missing things that the Big Bang is looking for, the Big Bang guys are looking for. So it's sending out dark energy everywhere to all the atoms that's on the surface, right? And the atoms are also releasing energy in various forms, and then also radiant energy themselves back into the system. So it's cycling energy, so recycled energy. Conserving energy, right? Goes in a big circle. I don't know if I've got an arrow for that or not. Have we got recycle out energy. We got this one. That's pretty good. It's like the recycle. So that this dark matter is constantly like a fractal energy, right? How do you spell that? Fractal maths, fractal, I suppose you could call it energy. Because if you look everywhere in nature, fractals are everywhere. Our bodies have veins, which are fractals. What's else in our body that's fractals? Where it sort of gets smaller and smaller. Trees, the leaves are like fractal systems, because they use fractal mass to produce artificial landscapes, right? I showed you quite a few lives back, that a fractal landscape generator I wrote on 8-bit micro, which I was running a simulator. I probably should do that again, because that was back in Hangouts days, when I was using Hangouts and it was corrupting the graphics. So I probably should demonstrate my artificial intelligence that I was working on and the fractal generator again. Probably not today though. I'd have to see if it's going to work. So yeah, kind of makes sense when you start keying all these things together. The missing stuff, it's there, but we just don't know that we're sitting on top of this expanding bubble. I kind of think that really makes more sense than it all coming from nothing. It's always been there, and this is what you could call God. This missing bit is actually God. What people want to have a entity that produced life, and of course stuff on the surface is exploding. You got the supernovas and stuff, and then you got black holes, right? So you could have like a black hole that actually taps into this middle bit here. So you got black hole. How do we do black holes? Have we got a cone? Oh yes, we got a cone. Got black holes, but it might not be tapping into this fourth dimension, but actually into a physical thing. So this black hole might connect to the other side, right? Kind of makes sense. So the energy is being moved around. So every galaxy probably has a black hole at the center. In fact, I'm not even sure if that's the case. So there's meant to be one at our middle of our galaxy, right? Black hole, middle of galaxies. Discovery is quite surprising, since black hole is 5 times more massive than the Milky Way. We're saying some galaxy here lacks supermassive black holes in the centers, but how do they really know? It's too far away, right? But it could be that every galaxy has a black hole of some size, which then ejects it to the other side of the spherical universe. I should type that in there. Universe. It's just thrown out some ideas here to make you think outside the box. Not sure if anyone else has come up with this idea or not, but this is the sort of thing that I was thinking about. They actually come in a dream. Like everybody says, these ideas come from dreams, and I dreamt that the universe was actually expanding ball. Universe model theory. So Big Bang's really a theory still. They're still trying to prove it. Maybe it's, again, it's not black or white, but it's grey. It's you can look at it that some of it's right, some of it's wrong, blah blah blah. Same as quantum mechanics and our understanding of science. Yes, they did image a black hole, but what did they actually image? It was actually radio telescopes all spread out through the surface of the planet Earth, and they collected it over months, was it? All the information, and then they used a computer to assemble it all, and it's really just a CGI. It's not actually an image. Computer generated image of all the data they collected. So depends how they wrote the software, what frequencies they chucked out to make the black hole. So what was there any frequencies within the black hole image from the radio telescopes that they may have changed or modified to fit their narrative, right? Were they being honest? So yeah, you got to always question things, right? So maybe just close those ones down since they're not working. I wonder if, did I have another counter for what else I got? Subs. Does that one work? Okay, looks like nothing's working. Has Google blocked scraping of data? Has anyone else got counters that are working? Let's just check. All these backup counters, none of them are working. Something major happened. Nice one, Google. Change it on the fly. Don't give people a warning. So, yeah. I don't know what else. What was else I was going to say? So, yeah. So, how could aliens travel the universe? Well, they've not been around for billions of years, right? They might not be as crazy as humans where they destroyed each other. I wonder if I got a picture of an alien that I can use. We've got cone. What else we got? We've got spaceship. We could use spaceship, I suppose. We've got a spaceship. So aliens might live over here. Maybe change the colour for them. Green. Not very good colour, is it? Cyan, maybe? No. Purple. They can be purple aliens. So they could be living over here and not know about it. We living over here. So Earth. Let's see. I could draw a little globe on that. Ooh. Let's see. It's a bit thick, isn't it? It's none better. Oh, that'll do. So it could be over here. So that would they simply just travel around, or keep traveling forward, which is really bending around, which is effectively bending space, I guess. Bending space around as they travel towards us here. Then they finally find us, or if they got a better way they can go. So really they need to find a way to travel through what you call this space here, the ether. They may have found out the ether is real and figured out a way to enter into this ether, which we can't note, we can't sense it. It's around us. Well, we're actually on top of it. So yeah, they could easily go through the middle, right? So straight to us, right? Bang. like a wormhole idea, a bit like how this the black holes work. Black holes simply go through the ether straight through the other side and eject all the material that they're sucking in from the surface here back into this, and it's forming new stars, new galaxies, right, on this side here. So it's a working idea, another working idea you can work with, whether you can prove it scientifically, mathematically. Maths is a tool, it's not actually a solution. Not the ultimate solution. Looks like I might have to pump that back up again. So you got the other galaxies around this side. So really, yeah, they could travel straight to us if they can enter into that energy field. How would they do that? It's a good idea. Well, hard idea. Maybe they can convert. Well, if the atoms are absorbing radiant energy all the time, does that mean that maybe they're dense? Could atoms be dense radiant energy? I was talking about that last live stream, talking about dense energy, that particles are actually dense energy. So if they're actually made up of this dense radiant energy that Tesla talked about, then you must be able to convert those atoms into pure energy through maybe some resonance field. Tesla was doing lots of experiments with that as well, where you vibrate material until it certainly breaks apart. So could you resonate the atoms into pure energy and simply just transmit it like a radio signal, and it reassembles itself through what people talk about vortexes, right? And that, like a black hole, but comes out of a black hole, a bit like a wormhole. So straight away you're traveling from one side of the universe to the other, bang, bang, bang. And if it opens up like a portal, right, through this thing here, you're actually seeing through the other side of this universe model to see what's on the other side. And it might be just connecting straight to their planet, right? And when the portal opens, you're actually seeing the airspace around the planet, which might have other flying saucers sipping around. And Vern talked about that. He saw that sort of opened up like a jelly mold, his sighting that he had, whether it's real or not, but this could actually explain it. That it's actually opening up this like a hole inside the ether here, and you're seeing the actual physical matter of the light and stuff passing through as they've opened up the portal and popping into our reality on this side here. It's quite it would make a good sci-fi movie, I reckon. What do you think on that idea out there? It looks like you're the only person here, Noah, listening in. Alien. What'd you like on my theory so far? So, yeah, go and have a listen to some of my old episodes. I'll just post some links to them. Now, we had Hans join us last live stream, and he seemed to be like he was joining in, but when I started putting up people's debunks, he got all upset and took off and started calling names. So, yeah, as I always say, we've got to question everything out there. Even science conclusions may be wrong. Quantum theory is still incomplete. So we've got to listen to other people's ideas. Might sound wacky, but it sort of makes sense, this idea that I've had in a dream, that the universe is actually a big a bubble, basically, and where the matter is actually the skin of the ball, right? All the atoms, physical atoms, are dense radiant energy, which I haven't put here. I called it fractal energy, but I really should have called it radiant. What tests are called radiant energy, but it also could be called dark energy, right? Because you don't see it, so it makes sense. So people are talking about 0 point energy, right? Tapping into what Tesla was calling radiant energy. So if you could tap into this field that we're living on top of, the bubble, you would have endless supply of energy that you can convert into our normal electrical energy, kinetic energy. And of course, what causes gravity? Well, Tesla said that the atoms absorbing radiant energy, the flux is actually the flux of the radiant energy is actually gravity, which kind of makes sense because you got a big mass of planet here, which is a big mass of atoms, so it's going to be absorbing more radiant energy. So the bigger the planet, the more the gravity, right? Makes sense. Smaller moon, smaller planets, less radiant energy being absorbed into the atoms. Less flux, so less gravity. So gravity is flux, is radiant, which is the flux, I should say. Just flux, call it flux. Nothing to do with Back to the Future flux capacitor, but it sounds pretty cool. Gravity equals flux. So can you control gravity then? Well, if you control the absorption of this radiant energy to the atoms, that puts them under stress, then it reduces gravity, right? So heavy objects can become buoyant if you reduce, somehow bend the flux being absorbed into the atoms, reduce it. You don't have to get rid of all of it. You can reduce it right down so the atoms are still stable but not collapsing. Then you basically get zero gravity, or near zero gravity, and you can just then be like a helium balloon on that planet. Big heavy craft. It could be anything that's made of atoms. If you put a field around it, and the question is, how did you create that field around the craft? Well, obviously materials, right? If you create a skin around the craft that can block the flux, then it's going to get lighter. Then you can just put little tiny ion engines on it, electrical engines of some form, plasma ion engines. You can then shoot that craft at supersonic speeds, right? And density. So what is density though? It's dense energy within the particles, right? So energy does actually have weight. The more dense it gets, the more it's noticeable, right? So, but yeah, it's a good thing to think about, all these things, and just try and connect it together. Could our universe be more strange than we realize? And sure it could. And of course, what could be paranormal visitations, ghosts? Is it in people's fragment imaginations, or something going on? I've had some experiences where things turn on by themselves. I've had things jump on me, so I can't explain that, apart from maybe the memory was playing tricks, which is always the way scientists explain stuff away. So I think all this explains how everything can be feasible. You know, people talking about aliens and craft merging with houses, right? So if atoms are pure dense energy, and they're made of this radiant energy, dark energy, and then it can pass through solids, right? How you do that is beyond our knowledge at this stage, but maybe aliens have figured it out. And that's why they appear to be interdimensional, but they might not be interdimensional. They might be just using this dark matter, or ether, or they call it the ether, a little tiny A in front of it. But that's also could be where entanglement idea comes in, where it uses this field here called the ether to transmit thought energy, which is again another form of energy from person to person, you know, remote viewing and all that sort of stuff. Everything could be possible. Everything ties in once you've got the right model of science, or the theory of the universe right. Starts all fitting together. So yeah, probably really talked about as much as I can on that, but I thought I'd put it out there. Something different anyway, instead of debunking. Talking about some theories and how it links into everything. You know, what could be ghosts, right? Ghosts could be like I was talking about, could energy actually have trillions of bits of information that stores information of whoever influenced that energy? It sure could, right? We talked about RNA could possibly have information buried in it, so it's passed on from human to human. But there's a lot of, we don't know how the DNA works, how it makes humans, where it comes from. Was the information gradually built up inside the actual atoms of the DNA strands, right? So when that breaks down, where does that that information go that's stored in those atoms for that person? Is it released back into this ether? And it simply we can tap into it, you know. When it plays back, it could be like a recording. Some people talk about sometimes it's recording, some of it could be recording. It's playing back that information that's stored maybe still in the environment where the person was, right, in other atoms, and it just plays back like a tape recorder, where it sort of pops out the information and forms like a ghosty image. Or it could actually be that that person's not actually disappeared, what that people call soul, where the energy is actually stored, but still lives on, but not in a physical human body anymore. But it can form itself using other atoms, like they talk about ghosts, right? Apparitions. It could form the energy into like a ghosty image using atmospheric molecules, which you know, it just opens up the whole possibilities of it not being pseudoscience. It could actually be all real. It's just that we just can't comprehend it. So at this stage. So yeah, how many people watching? Oh, we got 3 watching. Haven't scared you off then. So let's see. We haven't got security people coming here and abusing me. So if I search for Tesla, right, on my thing, you know about how YouTube works, right? You can search up here, but also there's a search thing next to the about button on people's channels where it just searches their videos, narrows it right down. It's a real quick, nice filter, right? Why did it get rid of it is a good question. Doesn't like me having a big font for some reason. So then if I type in Tesla, you can find my documentary where it talks about this radiant energy, which I'll post a link anyway. It's quite a long documentary. I do cover, as you can see, it's almost 15 minutes. I do cover a lot in it, his life and all that. But also, midway gets a bit more technical, what I'm talking about here, where people were trying to figure out his special tower here, which actually had glass at the top, which wasn't a normal Tesla core. Had actually, why won't it go up? Has actually a little dome at the top here which had glass, and no one knew why he needed glass there. It's because he was working on the next idea of his lightning towers to release radiant energy stored within atoms in the atmosphere. So the atoms are absorbing it all the time from the core of the universe, right? And he found that you could sap, I think it was a certain combination of air gases. It wasn't actually going to be a vacuum, it was actually air that was meant to be in it. And you could release the radiant energy in massive amounts from the actual air, which is quite an interesting idea. And then, of course, it radiates out in greater density. And then he had another tower set up elsewhere around the planet, which can then trap that radiant energy as it's traveling far distance, because, as you know, inverse square law, that it gets weaker with distance. Well, radiant energy could penetrate, he said, sheets of steel and still punch him in the chest. So it was able to go through other atoms, right? And of course, atoms would be absorbing that radiant energy as well. So it would be getting less and less as it's going through atoms, but it would carry on through what was left and through the other side of the planet, where he'd have other towers where they can then, he had some special antennas which would then, like a radio antenna for your TV, would trap that radiant energy and then convert it back into normal electrical power. So just imagine if he wasn't actually stopped from experimenting this idea that he had. He had stumbled across it probably through experimenting with high voltage. So yeah, the bankers, which is JP Morgan, basically stopped funding what he was building here when he realized that he was going to produce free energy for everybody, and there's no way for a banker to make trillions of dollars off people other than selling them the device they hook into their house or motor car to tap into the radiant energy that's being transmitted. So how did he actually create the spark gap though? He had to use conventional power. So he was going to hook in like a hydro dam into the tower, which is what I talk in this episode as well, and convert it to radiant energy. But the radiant energy is like 1,000 times what the input was. I think, well, I don't know. Well, I'm just saying it's 1,000 times. I'm not sure what the actual figure was, but yeah. So basically, he said one power plant could power the world at the time there, transmit it worldwide, and everybody could access it from just one hydro station. Pretty cool, I thought, anyway. But go and have a look at the stuff I got in that. You'll find it interesting. So I actually do talk about also other science theories about how UFOs were hovering. That was talking about Tesla again, and the radiant energy. So you might want to have a look at that live stream as well. UFOs hover. Again, it's talked about the fields. You know, you heard about To the Stars, talking about a square object with a sphere around it. A square object with a cube object with a sphere around it, or a circular glow around it. And of course that could be the energy field that they're producing with the meta skin of the craft. But a sphere, I don't know. It's kind of strange. I would have thought it would have been a perfect sphere or some type of dome-shaped craft, because the dome-shaped craft makes more sense for a field, producing an even field around it to block out gravity. But technically, I suppose if it's I suppose it's possible that if you're blocking radiant energy, that you could also make it any shape, really. But Tesla, obviously, the towers at the top were domes. There's Tesla coils. If you have a look at it, all copper balls at the top. Tesla. I think it's called Tesla coil, is it? These things here. There's some pictures of them. So you can see it's like a squashed dome, a donut there. There's these plasma balls that you can buy for your house. They're quite fun. You can touch on it and it tracks to where your fingers are. Here's one that's actually got a sphere at the top, or ball, so it makes it's even all around it. Here's another one working. I suppose I should move on topics now, but yes, it's all interesting. I like wrapping your head around these ideas and theories out there. I think these guys are buggered off, haven't you? I'm looking at the main page here. I'm talking to myself again, am I? Who's out there? Anybody? I don't think anyone coming to the Discord to join me, apart from the bot, which I used to test it. Nope, can't see anyone down the side here. Well, so yeah, I suppose that's probably everything covered, really. Lots of theories. Any way to prove it is another thing. I suppose those people that may have alien technology that's exploiting it may know. But this idea of gravitational waves doesn't work for me. But I guess the flux could come in waves, right? The flux of energy could be like an electromagnetic wave as well. So you can't really rule it out completely. But why can't we detect them all the time? We shouldn't have like a big black hole. The LIGO was looking at two black holes colliding together, releasing gravitational waves. The gravitational waves should be a lot stronger than what they're claiming to be detected. And I think I've covered that before, but I think maybe what they're detecting is actually a false positive. So yeah, I have my doubts, and that's why I don't believe Bob's story, where he was talking about the UFO goes feet first, right? Doesn't make sense. That means the UFO, when it's hovering, would be upside down, because the things underneath, the three pods underneath, are aiming upwards. Because when he says it goes feet first and then moves towards where the feet are pointing, that's where the gravity field is happening, so it's sucking towards. Is bollocks, as far as I'm concerned. I think Tesla's idea here is nice and sweet and simple, and people should go back to it and actually see if they can duplicate his experiments, because basically he found a mixture of high quality metal of some form, probably gold or silver or something, platinum maybe. He was able to produce anti-gravity. Obviously, he found a way to block the radiant energy being absorbed and the flux, and managed to get it to levitate, which is quite interesting. Maybe even through magnetism. You know, the magnet field is weak on Earth, but it might have been a way to, if you reduce the gravity field and boost the magnetic field somehow through the metal, that it actually could levitate, repel from the planet like another magnet, right? So yeah, I suppose I could save that little doodle. My doodle collection. I should really make it into a thumbnail for the episode, shouldn't I? We call it Untitled. I'll rename it later. Whew. So may have to come back to that sometime, I guess. That one we don't want. But I suppose I could make a thumbnail for the episode and upload it. include this on it. So if I open up that and I get that and say select all, we've done 1.5 hours. Select all, copy, paste. Just do paste, and I can resize it. There you go. Look. Doesn't quite go there. Squashed in a wee bit too much, but that's alright. Probably should move that down there and draw another box. And fill it in white. Yeah. What's going on? Oop. Stuffed up there. Why is it not filling it in? Rectangle. Why does it do this? Since no one's watching at the moment, I might as well just finish it off and then move on to 2 stars and that MUFON case and just wrap up for the day. I was going to talk about this theory in like a mini episode, but you can see there's a lot to it, a lot of things to sort of point out, sort of connect the dots. Deselect, select all, deselect, maybe. Wait, now, there we go. So that's up the top there, isn't it? Get rid of that bit up there. It's looking better. Now you can put a title. 158. So we can call this one that'll do. Or maybe the font looks a bit boring though, doesn't it? Could put an outline on it if I put it into a layer, but I forgot to do that. Oh, that's enough colour on a page. Anyway, you can save it as a thumbnail now. My snapshot thumbnail. Oh, it's getting cold. I need to put on the heater. My feet are freezing. Everyone else is hot. I heard was it France or 40, almost 41 degrees Celsius? That's probably nothing to Australians, especially living in the middle of Australia there, or Northern Territory, or Cairns, or what's the other place? Way at the top, Darwin. I'll keep it JPEG, I suppose. There we go. No fun for the episode. That should stir up a few people. They'll be calling me pseudoscience. So yeah, well, you do learn a lot on my channel anyway. Do get to think outside the box. You don't have to always go with conventions. I think you'll find a lot of these famous people, Einstein, never followed the system rules, right? Tesla certainly probably didn't. Always wanting to do things their own way. Let's see, model, just call that one. Original one was that. Don't need it anymore. How do I change it on the fly, you see? I suppose there's a way to do it. Well, you do it on a live channel. You go here. Oh, we got another like on number 4. Thank you very much. Who's out there? I really want other people to come on and talk about their stuff rather than me doing all the stuff all the time. It'd be good to bring back in people like Il from MUFON when he's less busy. Everybody's so busy that they're too busy to come on my live stream. You know, there's got to be a lot of UFO people out there that's seen some crazy stuff that would fit in with some of my theory that I just talked about. I know Werner's probably one, but he probably wouldn't agree on my theory. So, you know, you're going to always get people have their own viewpoints. So, how do we edit this? Edit it while you're watching. Edit. That I just. Oh, it said 2 watching. Oh, we got something else there. Oh, welcome. Welcome. If you missed it, you can actually click on the live button, and you can actually scroll it back to the beginning. So advanced settings. Is it? Perhaps I can't edit it. Hasn't got thumbnails there. Well, there you go. I need to change some of the keywords there. When I start, say, do another live stream, I say copy, and it's simply copies the last live stream I did. Yeah, so it doesn't allow me to change the thumbnail on the fly. Now that's pretty sucky, Google. Oh well. At least I'm not seeing it. But anyway, better get back out of it. Don't want to stuff up my live stream. Simply copies the last live stream I did. Looks like it's going. Yeah, so it doesn't allow me to change the thumbnail on the fly. Okay, now that's pretty sucky. So there you go, a live stream on a live stream. Hey, we got 3 watching. Welcome to the Out There channel. Fortunately, my stats counters are not working today. It's another problem that has to be sorted, hopefully by the people that produce the third-party software. So yeah, what should we talk about next? Oh well, probably To the Stars thing, and the cold field around the Tic Tac, or gimbal I should say, or both actually. So we get to it here. So Mick West put out this episode here, which is quite a good one actually, talking about how the glow around the craft is produced by the technology, not actually by what I was talking about in my theory there with the flux field, you know, the metamaterial that sort of blocks the radiant energy going in, which would cause it to glow, of course, and that's where UFOs glow. So everybody thinks this glowing is part of the force field to do with the anti-gravity. But this is some images that he's got here. I will copy and paste it so people haven't seen it. So this is the glow around the Tic Tac, or the gimbal actually, gimbal UFO explained, which is again talking about obviously graphic artifacts that you get with cameras and the technology of the sensors. But in this case it's actually an artificial filter, but like how I use it on here with the filters I use with the curves, right, and the sharpening. Basically you're changing a filter over top which changes the colors or the brightness of the pixels, which makes it stand out more. So here we're seeing more of the stars because we've brightened it, right? So that's basically what he's going to talk about, is how the glow around the thing on the targeting computer of the plane makes it easier to see for the pilots. So I'll just cue it up here and place some of it.
Around this dog in this.
Yeah. I know a lot of people don't like Mick West, but because he's a non-believer, right? A non-believer in UFOs visiting us, and ignores witness sightings saying that they're mistaken. I'm not like that, but he does do some good stuff, and he does help me out with understanding what's in videos sometimes. So I'll just put that on there, play a wee bit.
This thermal camera footage. Why is there a glow around this dancing girl?
Hello, Noah.
Or around this guy? Black is hot here in these videos. The glow is white. So why are they surrounded by a blob of cold air? Why is this jet surrounded by a cold glow? Or these engines here? Or this jet? Could it be that the dog, the people, and the jets each have some kind of alien technology anti-gravity generators that are warping space around them and somehow cooling the air? No, of course not. It's obviously just an artifact of the thermal camera system, not alien technology. And yet alien technology is exactly what some people are claiming about the same glow seen in the Gimbal video.
Ancient astronaut theorist Mike Barra, an aerospace engineer trapped.
I better be careful there, probably get infringement. Now, why would ancient aliens have Mike Barra there as someone that's meant to be an expert on video analysis? Is far from it. And they got this guy here, what was his name? Hollywood visual effects supervisor. And they're talking about this in Ancient Aliens. If you haven't seen the episode, go and have a watch for it, I guess. But they're talking about this being cold around it.
Around behind an aircraft.
Black hot mode? What's it?
So they don't have a clue.
Propulsion system.
So, and then you also got Corbell repeating the same garbage. He hasn't got a clue either. Man, doesn't he look like a biker? He seems to be getting a lot more grey. He needs to clean up that beard a wee bit. I would have thought maybe dye it. Even looks kind of silly with the white bits in it. But anyway,
Recently analyzed its FLIR. Not only does it's definitive that it's not a conventional anything by its movements, but there's a pocket of cold air around a propulsion source.
Even made the New York Times, described there as a glowing aura. But all this glow, this aura, this cold warping of space-time actually is a contrast enhancement in the camera that highlights the edges. It's a filter called an unsharp mask, sometimes used to give a slight sharpening in photography or video. It's a simple filter, easy to add to a camera. Thermal camera footage is often low contrast, and people using it for surveillance, like law enforcement or military, don't care so much about the aesthetics, so they often crank it up, which gives you the glow, but really makes the heat sources stand out against the background. All the videos I showed you at the start had this effect, except for the dog one. I added that myself so you can see what it looks like. Unsharp mask, no mask. Unsharp mask, no mask. So no, the glow around the Gimbal UFO is not evidence of advanced alien technology. It's the sharpening in the camera, cranked up to 11. If you've got experts telling you otherwise, maybe you should look at what else they're telling you. Even experts sometimes make mistakes.
so this is a little video. It's quite good. Go there and have a comment about it if you want. But I thought I'd just show you that. He's got other ones here, which I don't really agree with fully. He reckons that the Tic Tac might be a plane that's 80 miles away. And somehow I don't think this one here. Let's see, what else have we got here? Gimbal rotation. He does other stuff as well. You'd have to get to videos. And it shows you a whole lot here. That's the one I looked at, the Go Fast one, explained on Twitter. Did I actually bring it up? It was quite a good explanation. One of the better videos I've seen, where he's saying that the object's not actually close to the sea, but it's actually 13,000 feet high. So that's another one to go and watch if you've not watched them. They're only small, 6 minutes, 4 minutes. This one that we just looked at was 2 minutes, or 3 minutes. Gimbal, another 6 there. So Mick West debunks. Alright, so here he's saying that the Nimitz one is just a plane. You could just pop into that for a minute, pause it. Don't want to break his copyright or anything. You can see that the image quality is like VHS tape quality that's been digitized. But what he said here was this is actually a regular image, like from a camera, CCD camera, and this one here is actually a thermal of it. So they switch modes on the video on that particular one. So this is actually like a normal camera view on this one, and there's not much you can do with it. You can see it's very low quality, bit blurry, but he talks about the shape of it being a tic-tac. There's actually a peanut shape, he reckons, when it sort of moves angles. So he models that, see he's got a, like he says, it distorts the image here, but I don't know, mate, because you can see it's very low quality VHS tape. I'm not even sure how many pixels the original images, probably not even 48p, 480p, it's probably like 240p interlaced. So he's saying it's actually a side view of a passenger jet, but and he reckons that part up here is the tail and the body of it with engines, and I don't know, I think it might be just a distortion of the video image itself. But he tries to match it to a plane. He gets a plane model with the engines underneath, so he's saying that these bits underneath are the engines, and then he rotates it around, blurs it, so that plane is actually blurred, so it starts to look like a tic-tac, and then the side view blurred, then starts to rotate it, and you can start to see the wings start fading and the tail fin starts fading. And to me, I don't see that in the tic-tac one though. The tic-tac we can't see fin, but he's saying the VHS tape is so bad that it'll probably disappear anyway, which is possible. It's possible.
This is all we have to go by. I'd say this fits pretty well. So maybe the Nimitz video is just a distant passenger plane. But what about the infrared footage?
So my problem there though is surely the fighter pilots, that was Fravor, would know a passenger jet 80 miles away versus a plane that he's object that he's chasing to intercept it, right? But a lot of people are saying maybe because this is not from Fravor's camera on his jet. People in the comments, I think, said something like that. That the other person may have picked up the wrong object from in the distance because they're trying to track it, right? So the videotape might be not off the tic-tac, but of a passenger jet far away, which is a real bummer if that's the case. So really, we want to see Fravor's jet's camera footage. He's the one that got closest to it, wasn't he? So yeah, it just shows you back 2004 video camera technology is rubbish, right? So now he's looking at the thermal image there, comparing it to the Chilean one, which turned out to be a passenger jet 80 miles away as well. So it's a good video. It's a possible explanation that maybe the other pilot got mistaken from a distant thermal image of a plane. But why would it disappear is another question. What do you think out there? Because it seemed to move off, then they changed the zoom level, then it moved off to the left. Where did it go to? They said it zoomed off and disappeared. So that doesn't sound like a passenger jet. So yeah, I think there's probably a bit more going on It can't be debunked that easily. I think we have to wait for more information to come in, or more footage, or even something even better than what the Tic Tac was. There's got to be other pilots out there with better HD cameras now on their planes that are still intercepting these strange objects. It does sound like it with the cube one they're talking about. So where's the footage from that? We want to see all the footage. Come on, government, release it all. Restricted area. Possible. The gimbal one. With the videotape. Poor quality image, yeah.
Final zoom change gives the illusion that it's moving off really fast, but if you correct for zoom, you see that it's actually not. Is it solved? No, not 100%. The fit is pretty good, but not exact. But this was just the first plane I tried. Maybe a different plane or a different camera setting will work better. But I think it shows that a distant plane is a very real possibility that should probably be at the top of the list. And again, this isn't the same thing that Commander Fravor saw. So this just being a plane doesn't mean that he didn't see a giant jittery tic-tac shaped craft. I don't know what he saw, but I know what this video looks like. It looks like a plane.
Yep, so that's pretty good. I'll post that one separately too, I think. Tic Tac, is it a plane? I could see what he's talking about. Maybe the second pilot's video, he was mistaken. Because they're off the coast, weren't they? And there's a lot of big airports and also Air Force bases. The Air Force base where apparently the Tic Tac disappeared, it's only 60 miles away. There's an Air Force base. So who knows? Were they testing something? Also, it's possible that up here, that it might be one of these planes that don't have a tail, right? And have little wings, like let's see, stealth planes. I actually did have a good section that I posted on Twitter. That had a collection of stealth planes, and one of them was actually a fake one that I put out there to test people, to see anyone was going to do reverse search and figure it out and tell me off. But I was only just sort of playing around with them, and actually I had some couple good links from other videos which showed some stealth planes that are out there. But apparently the Chinese have got one. Probably can find it again. So there's another one that doesn't have a tail fin, right? Is this concept ideas? It could well be, but I'm pretty sure. There we go. B2 doesn't have much of a tail, right? So some supersonic drone that's rather than a triangle shape, maybe a pill shape, a tic-tac shape. That's possible. There's no one. Of course, you've got to remember these do vertical takeoff as well. So here's a Predator drone, is it? See, this one's got a hatch that pops up. See that? Pops up and then it can vertically lift and land. RAF F-35 fighter. So it does both vertical takeoff and regular flight, supersonic flight, right? Look at that one there. What's the difference between? What's it say? What's this one here? See, the tail fin is so small there. But if it's a plane that's far away though, it would have to be a fairly large plane. It wouldn't be a fighter jet type plane. It would have to be much bigger. Hang on, I just need to check something. I had to put the heater on. So there's a Chinese one too. You heard about me talking about on another life about the Russians stealing the plans of the space shuttle from America. Well, they redesigned it a wee bit and made it better than the Americans one. So it was actually more efficient and it could do heavier payloads and yeah. But they messed up. They copied the idea of the tiles, but apparently the Americans changed the plans at the last minute, and they got hold of the old plans with the glues and stuff. And of course, their space shuttle was a bit of a disaster with the tile system, which it may have been a workable, better solution, right? Let's see. China's stealth drone. So could the Tic Tac be something like this? Here we go. Now, did they copy the Americans? Possibly. Some pictures of it. Like a normal size fighter. Could that be what the Tic Tac was? That's very possible, isn't it? But maybe it's got a super sonic mode where it can go really fast, and because it's got no pilot in it, they're not going to have problems with G-forces, right? And it can outrun conventional planes. It could have a couple of missiles or bombs in the payload. So it doesn't have to be reversed alien technology still. That's the whole problem with this To the Star stuff. There's nothing really concrete to say in 2004 the Chinese weren't able to do this sort of stuff. Or could it be the Chinese got a crash UFO and managed to figure out stuff, and now they got these super crazy drones that they're spooking the US Navy with. Well, they always said that China wanted to take over the world. Who knows, it might still happen. So we have the Great Wall of China, a firewall, Great Firewall of China. The censorship will be fully underway then. And if you post anti-government stuff, you'd be executed, shot. But you can see here how it could fit the profile. Chinese, that one is a better image of it here. CH7. So this is what we know about. So what other stuff may they have out there, right? Looks so much like the American stuff. You can see it's got a little exhaust vent at the back here. And then you got the concept planes as well. Let's go up here. Future stealth plane. Have you typed that in? Future stealth bomber. Future fighter jets. So let's have a look at that one. See what we get. Look at this thing here. India. Got a website here. Let's see what they got on it. Bugger. It's one of that horrible site that puts up this images. Here's one. Looks very like Thunderbirds. Looks like it's from a CGI game, that one. What's that one there? BAE Future Offensive Aircraft Concept. We want one that looks like a Tic Tac. Here's one that looks kind of like a Tic Tac. Boeing makes 5. 5 what? Companies to design power and thermal management for future jet fighters. So what they want to do is they want to remove the thermal signature from these stealth planes to make them more stealthy, right? So doesn't that look like a bit like the Tic Tac, you know? If that could hover, right? So is DARPA doing something that military didn't know about? Oh, here's the one that I tested on my Twitter account, which is actually from a movie called Stealth, of all things. I haven't seen it, I don't think. Some people like it, some people don't, but it's got these strange engines at the back of it, as you can see here, which would change it from a normal thermal signature, make it more stealthy, right? But anyway, I suppose we should move on. Look at this one, fold up wings. Should move on to the MUFON case. Time's flying on. Now, it would have been good to have some chatters today. Hopefully, maybe someone will come along for Sunday chat. Next Sunday, which is your Saturday evening. Which is what I'll be doing every week. I may start making smaller 10-minute videos during the week and putting those up about various debunks or topics instead of doing it on a live stream. What's this one here? Iranian unveils a stealth multi thing. What's this? Let's have a look at this thing. So could it be Iran that's got stuff flying around? Multi-role strike aircraft. Is it real or not? Or is it just looks like it could be real. Looks like a vertical lift-off type thing. It's recently designed and produced Quaker 313, a highly advanced stealth multi-role strike aircraft. The plane, developed by Iranian experts, features a unique design. It's capable of flying at very low altitudes and is designed for short field takeoff. And now if it goes underwater, we may be onto something. And landing, and reportedly it can evade radar. So it sounds like a real thing. Doesn't look much room in the cockpit there though, does it? So I reckon they'll be doing away with pilots altogether. it'd be like artificial intelligence slash remote controlled. But they're saying these things are moving so fast that you wouldn't be able to remote control it. Satellite propagation and radio signal would be able to be detected and make it less stealthy. But that may not be entirely true. Kind of looks like something from the Batman movie, that one though, doesn't it? Say they figured out some other way to transmit data, which isn't normal radio waves, right? So it may not be detected. Yep, so I better move on. Oh, that crazy thing. That's kind of interesting looking around though. Something floating around in space. What do you call it? Space Command that Trump was working on. Somebody dropped some stealth planes underneath it into the atmosphere, away you go. Or it could be a high altitude thing as well. Captain Scarlet, right? Anyway, get rid of that. And we can close down Mick as well. Okay, so we got this MUFON case I want to look at for the last part of the live stream. Who's out there still? Looks like we only got one watching at the moment. So, yes, this one in Texas here. So I'll get the thing to read it out. Hopefully it works. Give me a break from talking. Walked.
Walked outside to see this disc-shaped object hovering just over the tree lines. It would drop below for a few seconds, then come back up as if it was riding waves in the ocean. It was clearly a disc-shaped object glowing white/yellow/orange around its rim. It was really far away from me and still a really good size, so it had to be massive 3-4 times bigger than a 737 which we see all the time. This is South Austin in between Menchaca and South 1st Street. I sent Spectrum News, Fox 7, and some messages the next day, and they said they got no other reports of it.
Okay, so obviously they took some photographs, but it's not gone through to UFO Stalker. This is annoying why things like that don't work. They really need to fix it up. So the case number is 1101301. So we type that into the new MUFON database. The case number. Got it down here. 101301. Submit. Yes, submit. We should have the original reports, and it's got the JPEGs here. So we've got a disc-shaped object hovering over South Austin, Texas. So let's download the images. How do we do it? Save as. So we've got 4 images. Why we've got no video of us? Which is kind of suspicious when people don't take a video. I'll post the link down the side. Unfortunately, we can't do a quick link to this case, I don't think, on the database. Not like UFO Stalker does. Okay, there's the 4 images. I can do a link to the description or one of these by copying the address. So this is a UFO disk, as they call it. So we'll have a quick look at it and see if we can sort of figure it out. But we haven't got much to go on. If someone's filming a UFO that's hovering over the trees, you'd think they would have done a video of it as well. So that's a red flag for me straight away. Maybe they know what it was and just made up a story. Just close that down there. And this one here, let's see, it's got the number on the end. Hopefully. Gives you the full report. There we go. So let's have a look. I smell some burning. Hope the house is not on fire. Okay, so let's have a look at the images. Looks pretty dark here. And we just got that little pixelated image here. So I might have to plug that into the editor. So the next one. Now what's this here in the corner? What's that, people? Looks like Jabba the Hutt. Is it? Kind of weird. It's not a real image, it's photographed then, is it? Well, that makes no sense. You can start to see there's some outline here. So they're claiming this to be a saucer. A bit hard to see a saucer shape though. Could it be a drone? Could it be a balloon with LEDs on it? Now what's this here? A bit hard to work that one out, isn't it? Reflection on a window. Oh, is that all we got? Looks like it. Alright, so we need to do a bit more with these. So let's start with the last one first. Open with paint.net. Okay, so what are we looking at here? We can try the brightness first. There we go. So what are we looking at in the corner here? Well, if it's a disc UFO, it's certainly on a slope there, isn't it? And of course drones have to be on a slope to move, and also it could be like a solar tube balloon even, right? But is it looking through a window? What's that there? Is that a curtain? Edge of a window? And that's something in the windowsill here. So the investigator would have to go back and ask him, I guess. So just to cancel on that one. Are you still there now, or are you gonna go? Is there another channel, another live stream that you're watching? Okay, we'll say copy. Well, it's been good that you joined us anyway. It's good to have some people down the side. Copy, new image. You should come on voice, so not that scary, and we'll let you have your say, and I won't make fun of you or anything. There we go. Like I said, didn't sleep very well because of my back pain. Yeah, what are we looking at here? Something on an angle. Oh, it looks a bit suspect actually, but I guess the blocks are there. Block, block, block. It doesn't look like a disc, does it? Still could be like a solar tube that's sort of reflecting light. It could be a drone, but they reckon it would be big, so it could easily be a balloon, right? So it could be someone flying one of these night kites that's got a strip on it. Strip of light, LED lights. Lots of possibilities here. As you can see, the edge of it looks very uneven, like it's like a strip hanging down from a night kite flying over a tree line. Of course, it would look big because they do have long tails on it. So if we go back to night kites, there's some that do look like UFOs. Night kite UFO. Try that. See these ones that look like UFOs. They're quite big. Triangle ones. But they have these tails, right? This one here is an example where you can turn off the LEDs from a remote control. There you go. Pretty cool though. And there's another one. Kind of fits the same shape, you know. Kite lantern. So the Chinese are coming up with all sorts of things. Use helium just to lift it up. And LEDs, so it makes it glow. Very similar. A glowing snake. Yes, one of these lead kites, right. It's amazing really what people put on these UK tabloids. So there's one doing a loopy loop. So let's move on to the next one. I haven't got too much time left. Another 3-hour stream. Of course we could go on longer. There's no need to limit the weekend ones to a certain time. I could make them shorter, I could make them longer. So let's do check on this one. Okay, looks like the edge of the house. Now we've got some ideas. Well, what's this thing here? So that looks like the guttering of a house. Like a hill line here with trees. And the UFO's there. So it could be someone flying a night kite on the other side of this tree line. Don't know what that's here though. Something in the garden maybe. Alright, just stop that there. Copy. Paste into new image. Zoom up. Still a bit small though. This one's slightly different than the last one. So it makes me wonder if they had motion blur on that one that stretched it out. Or doesn't look like a disc, does it? So let's zoom in that one. Looks a bit fuzzy edges. What are you doing, Paul? Paste into new image. Did I pick the wrong one? Paste into a new image. There you go. Still could be a solar tube balloon that's sort of bent, you know, solar tube balloons. Or it could be something similar, right? Could be still LED kite, LED lantern, LED helium balloon, solar. I wonder if it's been closed. I could ask Il from MUFON, see what it was closed as, what other information they found. Solar tube balloon. One of these little babies. Looks like a big snake in the sky. Often falsely reported as a UFO. And of course this one for TR3B. From underneath it looks like a triangle shape when it's up high. So could it be like one of these ones here? Made from rubbish bags. Now you can get LED things that you can put inside balloons to actually light them up. Balloon, internal balloon LED lights, and that costs very much. Let's see if I can find an image of one. Well, these are the LED balloons, right, that light up. But you can get the things they put inside separately that you can put into your own balloon. And of course they use them for outside lighting now. So on construction sites they use these globes. Don't have to be on stands, but they can actually be like floating in the air, and they can have them as high as they want. This one might be just a plastic one on a tripod, but you can get ones actually on cable that powers the LED lights inside, and it lifts up the cable and it lights up the building site. Let's see, I found them before. I think that might be some LED things you can put inside the balloons. You got jellyfish ones, often they're mistaken as well. And UFO sightings where someone's bought one of these and just let it go. It ends up flying the air currents and they see this jellyfish critter flying overhead. I wonder how much they cost though. And you can see they've got different colours and different colour lights inside them. Big star-shaped one. So here's the lights you can put inside, but to make any, here we go, waterproof mini LED light sticks. So you can stick all these inside balloons and light them up. So you could put one in the solar tube here and cause that sort of effect inside a balloon. So let's see if we can sharpen that one maybe, of this object, see if we get any clues. We'll have a look at the colour first. I can't see it being a disc shape, right? It's sort of like a bent tube shape. Just reset that. And you can see now if we tone down the brightness, how it fades out. LED lights on the ends of something in between. Yeah, it looks more like a big balloon that's sort of been lit up on the ends. Still my guess on that one. Let's see, I can sharpen it. Am I still recording okay? Looks like it. I don't think anyone's watching though. Okay, let's brighten it up here. Sharpen it. What Mick was talking about. They can create artifacts in the process around the outside, but you can control the lightness around it. See, that's amplifying the light, that's amplifying the darkness. But actually it looks like it could be two different objects joined together. Two lead balloons, big lead balloons joined together that someone's released from a party. You can see how wishy-washy it is in between here. Doesn't look like a solid UFO craft. Okay. We'll have a look at another one, I guess. This one was really bad, the first one. And Let's see what we can see on that one. Edge of the house. Still don't know what that is. Also, we need to check the metadata on it, so let's do that now. Let's find the EXIF information. And we'll just use our exit tool GUI, which calls the command line thing, which is pretty good. It's open source and free. And straight away, there's no information, which is not straight from a camera phone. It could be like a screen snapshot on the phone itself. So that's kind of suspect there. Once we get no information, see, no data. Pretty bad camera too. It's only 640, so it might be a very old camera or a very old phone. Looks like it's an Apple. Did they say in the report what kind of camera they were using? So this is why you need investigators to go and ask more questions. Bam, 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 bam. Just shape objects. Bigger than a 737. Yeah, right. It still could be a fake, right? The person sent it to the news channels. I got no other reports. Kind of suspicious of this one, because we got no metadata on it. So that's that really. Okay, let's see what this last one looks like. Gonna wrap up for today. So it's very similar to the last one we looked at, but it's tilted, right? Definitely looks like two balloons joined together, LED balloons, or a night kite, right? Quality's not good enough to ID it. Why's that not working? I wonder how it comes out through that online software. suppose I'll give it a try. ELA, error level analysis. I'll just close that down now. So, last thing to look at. Could it be fate? Sure it could. And where's Photo? Choose file first. Okay. Do that one I cut to start with. So what have we got? Is the compression constant? So it looks like it's not been tampered with. Looking at that there, looks pretty constant. I think it's sharp bright white if it had been edited. So how do we upload the full one? I'll choose number 1. And what they're showing here. So it looks like a normal nighttime photograph. With pixelization. But I'm not really good at this analysis tool. So yeah, it still looks like a balloon. With some LED lights on it. That's sort of bent. Might have a look at that one in the editor actually. The last one that we didn't look at. That one has a more of a shape to it, but less pixels by looks like. Here we go. There we go. Not much to go on, is it? Still looks like white LED lights. Looks less like a disc. Yeah, because it droops down here, they think that it's a disc. Nah, not convinced until on this. fact, I'm not even sure if it's been photoshopped. Colours on the block here. I suppose that looks like the same type of pixel block there. Middle. No, I think it's legit, but I think it's just one of these Chinese LED balloons that sort of got away from a party or something. Anyway, I'll just leave it there. You can have a look at it yourselves. And hopefully we get some people who want to come and talk to me. It's not good. So I'll just put it off there. Hey, I heard some sound. Yeah. Just close that down. Shut that down. So I'll do my end credits now. Thanks for joining us, whoever joined us today, Noah mostly, and Mojo. He's the one I did the alien grey UFO. He's the one that sent in the source code for, not source code, source video of that capture that he did. A lot of people question it whether it's real or not. Me, I couldn't figure it out either way. Normally I can sort of debunk stuff. That one was a bit tricky, but won't keep rehashing it. Really want some better footage with some better cameras out there. So yeah, I'll just wind it down now and I'll do the end credits. Do like and share, and hopefully we can get the tickers working again. Let's see what happens in the next couple of days, what's going on there. It's always something to fix. So thanks everybody, and those that couldn't join me live, hopefully you watch it offline, and do vote. Good night.